Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Around the Game. And tonight in the studio, I'm with one of the finest Ugandan female players ever. Can I call her Uganda's Bill Russell? She has 11 championships. Can you imagine? Miriam, you're so welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I am fine.
You look good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Lynn.
tell us how you began playing basketball. Why basketball out of all sports?
Wow. My journey began in Navmali High School. Way back. Um, so Navmali is a school that allows a child to choose. There are quite a number. We had rugby, we had volleyball, we had athletics, we had. There's just a lot that happens. Netball,
Yeah.
basketball was introduced later. There is soccer. So we did everything. Literally, we played and ran and did. We were all rounders.
Yeah.
When they called for football, you go. When they called for, and they used to be inter-house competitions,
Yeah.
and they were very intense. And then go for schools competitions as well. So when you progress at the house level, then you are the people selected to represent the school.
Yeah.
So most of us dominated in most of those things. I can't believe I played netball, but somehow we played. We played. So that's where my journey began from. So there was a passionate coach that died some years ago. He's called Adoa, and we used to play Adoa Cup. He was passionate in introducing basketball in schools, and so Navmali was one of the schools that was introduced to. So we were the pioneers to be introduced to the sport.
Okay.
And at that point, we joined in, and that year we played qualifiers, literally, I think about 2 schools. So we ended up qualifying. 2 schools qualified for the national championships.
Yeah.
And we came to SMAC, where it was held. And at the time, Nabsonsa was the reigning champ. I think they had been taking that trophy for as long as they enjoyed. So that year when we came in, we had bit is that we even didn't have a uniform. We played in our netball wrappers. So we were really feeling out of place. But through those wrappers,
Yeah.
we beat Nabisonsa in the finals.
It was your first tournament.
It was our first tournament ever.
Who are some of those teammates you had, you can talk about?
I had a full Becky on my team. We all come
Nabo
from
Mali.
Mali. I had someone called Logose, Betty. She dropped out of sports. We had Kathy Yamsugut. She was also on the team. And quite a number of other players that are no longer playing.
Okay.
So when we came, it was mostly actually netballers who were playing basketball. The only thing they told us is pass, dribble once, and if you're near, shoot.
So who are some of those girls on the Nabisunsa team you can remember? The one you beat?
There was a killer girl. She was called Tino.
Mm.
Tino was unstoppable. She was, I think, the MVP year in, year out. And I don't remember other players, but they were really, Nabisunsa was good. And they had that mentoring program that they had. So Nabisonsa was really unstoppable. But somehow, I don't remember which team we beat to qualify for the finals. It was a narrow escape. It was literally like, I think, 2 points or 1 point.
Yeah.
And we made it to the final. But we were scared for Nabisonsa. We literally got scared. We didn't have our breakfast.
Yeah.
People said, they said, go for it. We said, no. When you're playing Nabisonsa, you just can't even eat breakfast. But when we got on court, one thing we knew, we said, we have come a long way to reach here.
Yeah.
Let's beat these girls. Let us do it. And the whole crowd was for Nabisonsa, literally. We had only sympathizers, literally, because we were not known. It was our first time to appear. And some people who really said, but this team next year will really be dangerous. And somehow we played and we won. The Nabisonsa girls cried. They cried. That's all I remember about them.
Okay.
While they were chanting with jubilations and but that inspired us, and we even came in a fuso.
What?
Those days, you remember trucks would carry, and we came in a fuso. We packed ourselves in a fuso and went back. The next year when we came again, the school didn't have proper uniforms, but this time we borrowed ahead of time. So we borrowed Manjasi boys' uniforms, and we came back and took the second championship.
Back to back.
And that was it. So in that first year when we played at Sparks, at SMAC, there were scouts from different clubs. A1 players were there, Lady Bucks players were there. Those were the main big teams around. There was Magic Storm, not Magic Storm, Amazon was there, but it was mostly A1 and Lady Bucks. So someone from Imelda was a ref by then. She came and talked to me. Harriet also talked to me. And Jose used to be for A1. She also came and talked to me. But when I asked, they told me, no, you go for Lady Bucks. Lady Bucks is a good one. So then, by then, there was their manager she's called Susan Kafumbe. So when we came, she welcomed us.
So you joined the Lady Bucks in your vacation? In
my vacation. So they gave us appointments. They told us where to find them, holiday time, and then we came and joined. So when I came I came looking for YMCA. I found it. One day I found them in their training session. I first sat and watched. Then later introduced myself because some of them had seen me and they knew me. So they told me but I didn't go with my jersey. So they told me, have you come with your jersey? I was like, no, I even didn't have shoes. So a very nice lady called Jennifer, Jane Francis. She gave me shoes, a pair of shoes. They gave me a ball and told me, this ball is going to be yours as long as you come on this court. They handed me over to Coach Nimrod, who was their coach then. And they said, Nimrod, we want that girl to play. But by then, Lady Bucks had really mature players, senior players. So the frustration at the beginning was that when you train with them, no matter how much you train, you remain a kiddo to them. So the senior players would come and say, where is my jersey? They have not trained the whole week. Literally, for you, you're psyched up. They've told you you're going to play. You have a jersey. And when you come, someone says, hey, coach, where is my jersey? And literally, you're the one with the jersey. So you undress yourself and hand over. Game day. And until as time grew by, people realized there is some potential in this young lady. And intentionally. But there were two coaches by then, Coach Nimrod and Coach YY. They were working with Lady Bucks. So I would be on court as early as, they'll tell me as early as 9 a.m. I remember one day, I boarded a taxi, and when I got out, my mind was, I'm late, and I forgot the shoes, and I forgot the ball. I only carried my bag. When I reached court, I didn't have the ball, I didn't have the shoes. And coach was on court waiting.
Waiting for you only?
Yes, waiting for. I used to train alone. I was alone. Morning sessions, I was alone. And the rest would come during training time, like at 5:30. Then that's no more training session. So we'd have intervals. But these were like mentoring sessions, like grooming. Yeah, that's what was happening. So that day, the taxi went with my things. I tried to follow it in Kawempe, and I spent the whole day looking for my shoes.
So you're looking for the taxi?
I was looking for a taxi, and it was just a long story. But what happened is that when I came back, I told them, no, I don't have shoes. And Susan gave me her shoes. She donated her shoes for me because they needed me. It didn't take me long to change my game when I was playing. But the only challenge I faced is that it was only holiday time, which is about 2 weeks or 1 week. So when senior 4 gamed, I went to senior 5. I did not join a school that does sport.
You joined Lady Bucks in your senior 4 vac?
Yes.
Okay.
So in my senior 4, then after when I joined senior 5, I didn't go back to Navmali. My passion was to go back to Navmali. My dad didn't want, because I was dominating in sports and not thinking academics, and he was thinking at this level where I'm going, I need to be serious. And my dad wanted me to do sciences and what, but when I reached Navmali, I just put sciences behind me. And I discovered I'm not good at these things. Can't even bear sitting in a biology lab. So I realized, no, I'm not going to do what he wants. And that's where the gap was. So when I joined Katikam SDA, there was no sport. Literally, we do netball, but you compete on weekends, and their SDAs. Saturday is the Sabbath. So we'd train, but never go for any competition. Because if you go on Sunday, we're playing finals. so you can't participate. Yes. So 2 years I was not so much engaged in active sports, but we would do inter-house things just to keep us going. And I was really doing well because I was still an all-rounder. I would play soccer, I would play netball, play volleyball, and literally everyone is looking at you to hold their house. So that was part of my journey. And when I came back now, senior 6 back, I seriously got into Ladybucks now. But along those periods when I would come like holiday, I would play
with the
Ladybucks. Yes, they would give me time. I would play. They would motivate us by giving us playing time now. Even if they are just 4 minutes of the entire game, it was worth it. And then we were winning championships. So in those 2 years, I didn't have a lot of input, but my club really performed. And that's where my experience started growing. Then I remember they also took us to Nairobi for intercities, something.
Who are some of those players on the Bucks team, like the senior players, who you can recall, like they helped you grow?
There is Penina.
She was in Bucks.
There is Susan Kafumbe. There is Hafsa. She was called Hafsa. There was Hadija. There was someone called Jeffo. She was a Kenyan, but living in Uganda.
Okay.
She was also a very dangerous point guard. She only had injuries, knee problems, but she was very smart. And she also, by the way, taught me post moves. Like, she was good at them. And then there was also Jane Francis. Then there were Lillian Lateru. Those are all now in the US. Adija, who most of them are now out in the US.
But basketball, because of basketball.
Because of basketball, but they are not literally playing. I think basketball now. Yeah. But it was a great team. You look at that team and admire them, and they were all big. So when Jane Francis, even I remember, got me into that club at Makere. It's called what? Club 5?
Yeah.
Club 5. Yeah. If I'm not training at YMCA, I am actually at Club 5. They are making me skip. I remember the day the guy made me do push-ups and carry weights. I didn't shower. Someone showered me. Jane Francis had to shower me. I was like, it's hurting. My muscles pain. The next day I could not walk out, and they said, okay, you're going to slow down. And I think they realized we are pumping this girl
too much.
Yeah. They just wanted something to explode out of me. And that helped a lot. My mom felt it was because the team had really approached her and explained. Imelda had come home and visited and talked to my mom. My dad was not so much into it. He really wanted academics.
Yeah.
But my mom is an open-minded person. She was able to say whatever God brings alongside, we cannot ignore every blessing that comes along with it.
Yeah.
So she was supportive.
Okay.
She would literally give me transport to go. She would cover up for me when I'm really late. She really went an extra mile to make sure that I do the sport that I wanted, because she discovered I was so passionate
about sports.
Yes.
So, how many championships did you win with Ladybucks?
Only 2 at the time, because when we were beginning to settle in Ladybucks, Penina broke off to build a team in Makere. So halfway our first year, the first year I played for Ladybucks.
Yeah.
Halfway that year, Penina decides to create a club for Makere, but then what campus, called Sparks.
Yeah.
And MUK Sparks.
Yeah.
So we played for only in our first year, and that's when we played the university games. But the second year, a rule came and said, for you to participate in the university games, you must play for the club.
That was the second season. After you got done with the Bucks, then you joined Sparks. The next season, or it's still the same season?
It was in that flow, like from senior 4, senior 5, senior 6 back, and then in my first year campus.
Okay.
So when we joined, we started well. Halfway there, Penina feels, I feel I need to open up. I think she looked at the whole squad and all of us were going to Makerere. So they went scouting, and quite now all of us had collected. Akulo now was in Kampala. They had brought the Marions. They had brought other players. So we were really quite a handful of people that would start up a club. Florence Akelo was around. So when she looked at the team that would make Makerere, it was lethal. Tara. And when we started the first year, we took a championship. Sparks took the championship. And that did not stop until we left Makerere.
Like NBL championship.
Yes, literally. Like,
so you
were young,
who were the dominating champions before you guys began taking? So that season
had been unbeaten for, like, they had married A1 for years and they had been unbeaten for a long time. So literally everyone wanted a winning champ, but the competition was literally between two clubs, and then A1 and
Ladybugs.
Like it was you would know which ones are literally going to end up in the finals, and you would know it is going to be a fight but an easy win at the same time. Yeah. So that's what happened. And so when we moved, we overturned the table. The thing that helped us is that we were all young,
energetic,
focused, and then passionate, but also talented. Remember, Ladybugs had scouted good players only, and that's what. By the Ladybugs tried to resist on my side to release me because they had invested in me. They had put in and they had groomed me, and I had become this dangerous post player at that time. So they felt, we cannot just let go of this.
So how did you go?
So I had to explain to them that every campuser's passion is literally to play in the university games. And even Frances had offered me a home. I was literally staying at her home at the Quarry Flats there. So I wasn't staying in a hostel because I told them my journey to go to campus was even interesting. I was never meant to go to campus. My dad wanted me to go to an NTC because I had gotten a government scholarship and study and become a teacher. But during that whole senior 6 vac, a lot of my friends had come. The Akulos were around. Everybody was talking about Makerere. I was like, how can I be the only one going to NTC when everybody is going to Makerere? And then Makerere was the thing. I got papers and I applied. I didn't tell him. When I applied, I still put education as my, I don't know what I applied first choice, but education was my second, I think, bachelor's in business, something like that. And then, but they gave me education. So when my dad gave me money to go shopping, I went and paid registration at Makerere. So he asked me, where is your bag? Where is
the things you bought?
And I'm like, Dad, change of plan. Actually, I have an admission from Makerere. Dad just looked at me, and my dad is a born-again Christian. So he's very cultural. He was very cultural. He passed on, but he was very calculative with the things he said and what he would do. So he didn't talk to me. He didn't say much. Actually, I kept in suspense. I didn't know what he was going to do. But he said, if that's your choice, then let God guide you.
He let you
just let me be. And somehow, my journey for campus was very interesting. And literally, God guided me. So those 2 years we played, we did a good job. We played.
Were you on scholarship?
No, at Makerere, I wasn't. I was a private student. So we're paying. So that's how Frances gives me a house. So she said, so I told them, guys, my dad wants me to go to this place. And if I go, that means I'm not going to play. And
they were
my
like,
sport had grown. So they're like, no, we need you around. So when we did all that, they said, no, I'll actually accommodate you at my house. You come and live with us. So that cut off that whole cost of telling him, Daddy, they need a hostel fee. Because we're staying in Bugolobi. So commuting from Bugolobi to campus was not easy. So that's what happened. And then, so when Penina opened up, when Ladybugs was saying that we actually gave her accommodation, Penina opened up another accommodation spot and said, no, actually, I'm collecting all these people you are helping. We're going to put them somewhere. There is a building there at main ground that she wanted us to stay in. But that didn't work out anyhow. Somehow, my dad gave me for rent. So we went into hostels and but she offered. So literally, Ladybacks ran out of options
Yeah.
onto what exactly they can use to hold us. But also, I think FUBA had made a rule that favors university students. But for universities to grow,
Yeah.
they need to allow the students to play for the university if
teams.
they have opened up the club.
Yeah.
And that's where I think we've gained the advantage from.
Okay.
So somehow we joined MUK Sparks, we played, and Mandy Jorini was my first coach ever.
Okay.
Actually, Mandy called us and said, guys, I am going to be your coach. How do you feel? But we already had a very good relationship with him.
Yeah.
So we're like, we are so excited about this. And when we didn't have class, we won court.
Every day.
When we had, I'm telling you, our life was basketball. We didn't know anything. The only thing for me that was very key in my life was church on Sunday. And I used to pray from Watoto Church, which was KPC.
Not Bugolovi Church.
No, because I was at campus.
Oh, okay.
And Watoto Church was very vibrant, for the young. Services are lively and what. Bugolovi is Anglican.
Yeah.
It's full of hymns and whatever. But when you're young, you're at campus. There is a way you want to be. Yeah. So we would go to Watoto Church and walk back by Uganda Road.
Teammates.
With Akulo, we were just quite a number of us, but mostly me, Becky, and Kathy, because we were living in the same place, and we were sharing a room with Becky. I have lived a lot of my life with Becky Akulo. She's been part of my journey.
That's your sister, then.
Yeah, so she's been so much in my life.
Yeah.
So we would go to church and walk back and settle at YMCA. Watch all the games up to 10 p.m. Go home. Analyze the games, watch the teams we can beat, see what we have learned. Our language was really basketball.
Yeah.
The next day we're on court and we do what we have to do. Deliver, go home, and wait. We didn't have much to worry, but we were also performing in our academics.
Yeah.
And I remember that year Penina took an initiative to actually take us the team, Sparks team, because we had one. I think we went to participate in a tournament in Mombasa. And it was really exciting.
Yeah.
We also got exposure from there. And it was quite a journey that opened up us to realize that actually it's not just about within here, Uganda, but there are also good players out there that you can compete against. People that gave us hard time. Yeah. We didn't win, but we learned something from there. And we also knew that we had to step up in what we're doing. Yeah. And that elevated our game to another level.
The next question I'm going to ask you is, what happened to my career? Because I think Sparks still exists, and it's doing, I cannot say it's doing really, really badly. I can say they're struggling. And I think Penin is still at MUK. So what happened with the talent? Like you had Akulo, Becky, I think all those girls, you're still active, not maybe basketball-wise, but you're still around, and Sparks is still struggling.
I think with such things, it's still the strategy on how to maintain. If you've started a legacy, you need to maintain it.
Yeah.
But I think we just believed that schools will feed in people into the universities, and they will come, and then you just pick on from there with what they have and make it work. And again, maybe our lot was special. The kind of most of us that were talented showed up in the same period. Yeah. And it is periodic, like 3 years, these people have to move on after 3 years. Now, unfortunately, even before we finished the third year, KCCA came, showed up.
How many championships did you win with Sparks first of all?
2 championships.
So those are 4.
So those are 4 already.
Okay.
So when KCCA showed up, we kind of knocked at our door, and they started with the coach. So they first took the big gun and said
that was Monday.
They said they need that coach. So when they took the coach, they must have asked the coach,
which players do you
want?
Who
are the players you want to take? Definitely, we were some of them on his list. And I remember Monday talking to us about, there's this offer, this is what they're doing, but maybe manager can talk to you and all that. And then we were called, they asked us, what do you want? How do you want us to, make this work? What are the terms and conditions? KCCA had been in the league the previous year, and they had come with a team of netballers.
Okay, so it was just their...
so this was going to be their second year. Okay. But, like I said, manager and the managers of the team were very passionate. They knew what they wanted.
Who were those managers?
Joy Olinga, Madam Joy Olinga, and Dennis Karuhanga.
Okay.
So I don't know if there is any passionate manager that I've seen like Joy Olinga. She's always there on the training sessions, inspiring people, telling us what to do, and not just about basketball. She's all over she's holistically managing your life and helping you. She just became a mother to most of us. And for me, unfortunately, in that year when I joined KCCA, my mom passed on in my third year. So I joined KCCA, but they came with a scholarship offer. KCCA. So in my third year, I didn't pay tuition. No, I didn't pay tuition. So that was a relief for my parents to know that I can study, and through sport, I am actually benefiting. It's a two-way thing. So that motivated me even the more. I got myself committed. Now, I didn't care about the university league or what, but somehow the university needed us, so they didn't fulfill that law. When the leagues came up and when the university tournaments came up, we went and played. Because they didn't have players. Most of us had moved. And that year, I remember in KCCA, I don't know whether we took the championship, but I think we took the championship as well. So the move switched from Sparks to KCCA now. So we went with the championship there as well. And when you are under Monday's coaching, I don't know what, you just can't fail to perform. This is what he does. Monday follows you off court and he asks you, what are you doing? You didn't show up for training. Did you do anything? Did you think about any move? And he would send you messages, texts, and he's asking you, okay, I want you to do this. And you're reading it and saying, man, this coach, just one day. But he's reading and saying, if you go in the bathroom, get a piece of soap, throw it up. I want you to drop step. Imagine, look over shoulder. I want you to perfect that,
with a soap.
With a soap. And it's like, okay, game time. How do you feel? How are you feeling, Miriam? What do you think? Have you looked through the entire A1 team? Whom do you think? What do you think? What strategy? He's engaging you like before the game. And you're starting to put your mind there. And then as a smart player, you start knowing that actually this coach is counting on you to perform. And then he'll definitely tell you what he wants you to do. And then he'll drop it to you and say, guys, no matter what happens, I know you are good and we can do this. But I want you to leave that court when you know you've given me 100%. And when you go there, you are like a wild animal wanting to just prey on somebody. And we would play that you even forget who you are. Like the things he would teach you, you get on court and you do moves. And people scream and they say, Miriam, what was that you did? And I said, what did I do? You can't even remember what you did, but somehow you did something extraordinary, even no girl would do. And for me, that's what used to amaze me. People would say, like, how you show us on court, training time, they'll be like, you show us what you did the other day. And I'm like, how did I do it? And I'm trying to do it, it just doesn't come. But but because coach has been taking you through those post moves, has been teaching you them, somehow game time, your defense gives you what to do. And you do it. My best was up and under. Because you beat two players at the same time. So this first player comes and thinks he's really outplaying you, and so you beat him, and the help comes so quick to help on that side. And all you do is fake and spin on this side and go the basket. And then the most exciting thing is when you see the whole crowd standing up and boom, 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 boom. You're like, wow. You feel you want to do it again and again because it feels good. It feels fulfilling. And then you feel, your teammates, and your teammates are encouraging you, high five, and all that keeps your journey going through. So I really, really enjoyed my moments with those. Of course, later, when we had also other assistant coaches, like I had Mande Baker helping out Juruni. We had also other people. Sandy was a ref for the club KCCA, but he was also helping out with other basics
as a coach
as well. Then later in the day, we had also Coach Dibzo come in there, Of course, in Sparks, we had both Obol and Monday, but Monday was like a senior coach.
Yeah.
And Obol had started with Cubs and then helping out with a big team when Monday was not there. But literally, Monday used to take us through a lot of these one-on-one drills. And most of the players, when I look at Agatha, when Agatha came in, literally Monday nurtured her from volleyball into a basketball player. And she became one of the most dangerous power forward player. She was actually a number 5 player. But when you put our first 5 together, people just looks at us. People would look at the squad and they're like, can we penetrate through there? Akulo is on this side. So KCCA by then, my team was.
Yeah.
We had Akulo. I had Flavio Kecho. Then I think Miriam joined us at some point there. But we had Tamale, also Linda. Then myself. We had, that was Marion and there was Agatha. Then the Marthas came in a little bit late again.
Okay.
But you'd look at the KCCA squad and Peace also joined us. You're like, if I beat Akulo, will I escape Flavia and Miriam and what? Yeah. So would force people to shoot from outside because they just can't penetrate in. And you know, for most girls players, their shooting ranges are not good. So we give you that option, but it is just to help us at an advantage, pick the rebounds, and we go. And then our team was fast as well. Yeah. So Sparks also somehow what laid them off is that some players left after that. So the club would stay because after university you're allowed to play for the club. But most of the good players like Florence, she left for Canada. Then I think Rose also left. Then Marion, they all left. Then later Agatha also left. Yeah. So both, but there was a strategy to try and KCCA was very passionate in ensuring that it's replacing and there are like more than one person playing a position. Yeah. So in the event Miriam left or was injured, you're not totally looking around and saying, whom am I replacing? So they had a strategy and they were scouting out people. Yeah. Although then the strategy was go out, look for people outside and bring in. But also it used to buy from different clubs and pick players from the good players from the different clubs and keep them. But they had a retention plan, like players who came in didn't just play for 1 year and go away, because 1 year is not enough for you to have a bonding, team chemistry. Yeah, that wasn't happening. Yeah. And then with KCCA again, there were so many tournaments that we participated in outside Uganda, like exposure, Zone 5, intercities. I think every intercity we went, and that is because we are for KCCA. Those are intercity games, but we participated in all of them. So you'd find either we are traveling twice in a year for those international games, but they were helping us to grow. We reach there, we think here we are good, we go there, we find people who are better than us, and that only shaped us. So it also helped us to stay in there and build our basketball, call it a career, but yeah.
So how many championships did you win with KCCA?
About 7.
So that is 11.
7. But you see, the beauty is it's so sweet to play for a winning team. Yeah. And for a winning team, when you are actually playing, it's different. Some people count championships when actually they have not literally been playing. Yeah. Like the ones I had from Ladybugs, I wouldn't say I gave it over, but it was because the limitation. They didn't so much believe I can do much. I had playing time, but it wasn't really. I'm talking about when you are one of the most dependable players in that team. You are literally playing four quarters, 3 quarters the minimum, and you are giving your whole, and you know we cannot lose this game. Yeah. So those, I think from Sparks and KCCA, those were the most hard ones that we had to play. You're literally playing 4 quarters. My God. And hustling. The minimum you play is 2 quarters. 2 quarters. Yeah.
So in 2009, you were voted USPA Female Basketball Player of the Year, and of course, regular season MVP. Was it regular season or playoffs MVP?
By then, I think, I don't remember if they were dividing. I think they just looked at the entire league and said who was the most valuable player. Yeah. And
what was different in 2009?
I think 2009, 2010 was my peak I was in KCCA by then. That was my peak point of playing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just would do things that even me, I didn't know that I would do. My post moves were literally, that's the time I actually, MTN got us to shoot those, what are they? Those post adverts
Yeah.
that are in Lugogo and what.
Yeah.
I had a good game. Literally, everything worked out. Whether I trained, whether I didn't train, my body just gave it.
Yeah.
You know, there are those seasons where you are just on fire. Whether people stop you, and once you see the hoop, you've seen the hoop.
Yeah.
Once you want to do your move, whether you're doing it falling,
It still works out.
it works out.
So
that was the period. But also,
how would you describe yourself? I want to know how you describe yourself in terms of work ethic, how much you love the game.
I am a hardworking person. Once I believe in something, I give it, mostly sports.
Yeah.
I give it my best. And for me, when I come for a training session and I know this is what is going to help me get better, I will do it. I want to get exactly what the coach is telling me to do, because what I have learned in the experience is that when you do what coach wants you to do, you will always have playing time.
Yeah.
When you just practice what he is, not what you think you can do. Coach says pass the ball here to there, and you think you're smart enough, you've seen, coach, this is a long process, let me go for the shortcut. Coach will bench you because you don't follow instructions. I love to listen and follow instructions. Where I'm having challenges of maybe following it, I will definitely be apologetic and say, I am sorry. I am quick to accept my mistake. Where a coach comes and tells me that was maybe a stupid thing you did, or that was not necessary, or you should have passed the ball. Because sometimes, you know, as sports players, you think you can beat someone. So someone is free because you've not looked over. And so instead of passing that ball to a friend, you insist on a move and it doesn't work out. So sometimes the coach will come and correct you. But I am also down to earth. I don't take myself to be like a superstar, but somehow things that you do, people see the superstar in you. Yeah. And so they will respect you for that. Yeah. But I also respect people with talent, people who add value to me. Yeah. So once I know you are good at what I do, I team up with you. There are a lot of players I would say, you are fast, you're going to cover me up. Yeah. And I am a little bit slow because of maybe this injury and this, but I can do this. Yeah. So a lot of those things help me coordinate better, but also practice. Yeah. Honestly, I would be home and I'm just meditating on that things. It would be like a class session. You know how you and like you are just lying on your bed, but you are seeing these moves come in your mind. They come alive, and you are trying to put them. I would also draw some of those things the way coach was showing and say, this is how you do it. And you have a book and you're scrabbling things around and you're drawing this and that. Yeah, those would really help me keep the game come alive. But I never miss training unless I must. I will be late for training, but missing training for whatever, something that doesn't make sense was not my thing. If anything, I think I do almost 98% of my training sessions. Yeah. Unless I'm sick or what, or committed or late, it will not happen. Okay. So that commitment helps me. But again, me, I'm a believer. I believe in God. Yeah. I know that God gives us talents and God has made us who we are. So the first thing I acknowledge is that God has brought me this far. God has given me this. Surely there's something good that come out of this. Yeah. And that's what he says. Every good and perfect gift comes from God, the Father of light. So for me, those would encourage me. And my parents always pray for us. I do a lot of prayer. Even when I'm going to court, even when I'm just on that jumping fast 5 on court, I will always say my silent prayer. Say, Holy Spirit, here we are, but take over. Lead us today. Victory is ours. Sometimes the victory will not come. You might be beaten. Yeah. But that's where some people think that when you pray, things should happen the way you have. But it's God's will.
Of course. Yeah, then tell us about your national team experience.
National team experience. Compared to today, I say the teams that are playing on the national team today are very lucky. And they are very fortunate to have what they have,
Yeah.
the facilitation they get. People sleeping in Hotel Africana.
How was it by then?
Literally. Oh God, the last time I said I will not participate in national team then, I think that was in 2010 or something, we had gone to Rwanda. And I understand the federation.
Yeah.
Literally, I do understand. They did their best to send us there, the team, but we didn't have the money. Vince, you wake up in the morning and you don't know what your breakfast looks like. A call has to be made to Kampala, and someone says, okay, we are trying to get some money. I think you try and have this. Then you go for a game, you finish the game, you sit, and you're waiting for a call to tell you what your lunch would look like. But we were passionate.
Yeah.
The way you hear the word.
Yeah.
When we stepped on that court, we forgot about what hardships we had in the morning, what we didn't eat, what we didn't want. Now, the only thing is that basketball is it's a kind of a psychological game.
Yeah.
Sometimes what you see, what you perceive can affect your game, even when you know you're good.
Yeah.
Here comes a team, Rwanda, national team. You look at them from head to toe. They are dressed, they are all in new sneakers, they are all in what, they have what, they have bags, they have
all uniforms.
Brand new. And then your mind starts saying, why are you not in such a... That alone disorganizes your focus. And these guys show up 25 minutes, they are now walking past you who has, you've been seated there, you've put on your uniforms, waiting, you're going to play. And then this whole team shows up and they say, guys, go up. And you see people zipping themselves, trucks are dropping left and my friend.
So that was psychological.
Very psychological.
Yeah.
We would play, but coach had to do a lot of work with mentoring our brains, like bringing us back to the game and helping us believe in ourselves. Because that alone triggered, and I don't know whether it was their strategy, they would never be in the stadium. They just show up almost game time and you have been warming up, you think you're ready, and this team just shows up. The next day they come with bottles, each one holding it, and they're like, they've changed, full uniform, changed. I was like, God, we have one uniform, we have, I don't know what.
You have to wash every evening.
I think we had two, and it wasn't really good.
Yeah.
So the federation struggled then, but I think the likes of Haji, who have believed in sports and they want to make it better.
Yeah.
And I think players owe it to the people who are injecting money to make us proud.
Yeah.
Literally, there is no excuse for what they have. Good courts now, they have the facility.
Yeah.
There is a lot that has changed from then to now.
Yeah.
And for us back, and the only challenge right now is that every time I see a squad is put up, so many people are complaining about it and asking, how did that one qualify? I don't know how the selection is done. But back in the day, selection was done on merit.
Yeah.
Literally, you'd look at the squad and even you're like, I like it. I agree 100%. You would not hear people grumbling and say, how did they leave so and so, and how did they leave Norman and take so and so? How did they leave Ikong and take so and so? How did they leave? It was smart. The first 12 you look at, that was the cream from all over. Even if they were coming, by then KCCA used to dominate. You'd find it's national team, but 5 players are for KCCA.
Yeah.
Because it is the cream. And for me, I think that helped people know that I have to work my way to be on the national team.
Yeah.
But today, I don't know whether there is either coaches don't have a clear criteria they use. I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's high time they paid attention to the concerns that people give, especially when they are querying how did you arrive at this squad and leave out A, B, C, D.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go a little bit personal now. Do you have a top 5 international team ever? Like all-time top 5 girls? I don't know if you're going to tell me top 5 girls or top 5. You mix them. I don't know.
International.
Yeah, international.
I'm not so much a fan.
Okay.
I don't watch so many of those games literally, but I know some people. At least I know there are some games we have watched as a team. and I have seen some good players.
Okay.
I have also watched some of their highlights and all that, and they are so inspiring. Point guard, I'll go Subad.
Okay.
She's fast. She thinks. She takes every opportunity she has.
Two.
And for number 2, I think she's Diana
Torasi. Yeah.
She's a machine.
Okay. 3.
And then number 3, of course, Brianna Stewart.
Okay.
Yeah.
4.
She's been doing very consistent.
Yeah.
37 points, 31 points.
Yeah.
I was like,
what is this?
Girl.
Number 4.
Number 4 is Candice Parker.
Okay.
Candice Parker, and number 5 definitely Sylvia.
That's
Follis.
nice. Okay.
Yeah,
So let's go local now. This is where you're going to get a hard time.
Local,
Top
I'm not
5
going
local.
to struggle with the current
all time
era. I'm going back in the day.
Yeah.
Top 5. I'll start from the behind, from the back. I'll go with Peace as my number 5.
Okay.
And I'll take Balidawa Agatha.
Okay. 4.
As my number 4. Number 3, I would call Akelo Florence.
Okay.
Number 2, I would call Onakulo Becky.
Is that friendship?
That left-handed girl is not simple.
She's an assassin. That's
She's
true.
an assassin when she means to explode.
Yeah. Then
so
at 1,
literally, and my number 1, I would maintain my legend, Flavio Kecho.
Okay, sure.
Should be there, my number 1.
Okay. Then toughest opponents you've come across, offensively and defensively.
Toughest opponents I have seen in it has been very tough for me to mark Velma in the times we played with them because of her body and her height and her aggressiveness. She wasn't very smart, but you needed to be smart to what, otherwise she'll give you one and trigger your wires off.
Yeah.
And for a smart player knows that once you intimidate your opponent and they lose it,
they're done.
They're done.
Yeah.
Every time you come, they just want to do something, and probably the ref is going to call a foul on them, and it's frustrating, and they're benched and all that.
Yeah.
So that's what will happen. And then the other one would, for me, it would be Purity. Marking Purity, she was fast.
Yeah.
And she was hard. Like she jumps on you and you move. You can't stay. And girl was used to call her Chuma. Literally, she was metal. And she was young.
Yeah.
That was the good thing about it, that I saw a future in her. Like she was young, she was passionate.
Yeah.
She was good. Okay. Yeah.
So I want your personal view about female basketball back in the day and right now. Like, do you think it's developing, or we have reached a certain point and there's no change now?
I think it's not developing the way it should. By now, with all that we have, the facilities, the funding, the access, the infrastructure that is available, I think the female basketball should be at a way higher level. Yeah. But it is not growing. Also, when you look at the national team, and some of the issues that they are having is that they don't want certain old players being in the national team, but when you look at the products you have, you're like, okay, whom do I have for so and so? They will not deliver. Yeah. So I think the intentionality of trying to develop players outside in small clubs, maybe allow clubs to groom young players. Yeah. The biggest strategy that most clubs adopted was to shop. Go out and pick out good players from Kenya, from Rwanda, from where. And this just made us focus on more talented people who are not even Ugandans, as opposed to grooming our own talent in-house. So you find that now I really appreciate the under 16, under 18 that are there, but I think that is not enough to feed the whole country. Yeah. We need to have almost every club having part of a grassroots program that is happening. I love Angels, where I'm playing right now. My club, that is where they are having a grassroots program. Under 12, they have under 16.
Before we go there, it was actually my next question. Why did you join Angels? I mean, there are very many teams in Uganda that would want to have you by their side. I mean, even these coaches who you went through, I'm very sure they would want to work with you to nurture the players they have on the team. But why did you pick Angels?
So when I left KCCA, I think that was 2012, 2013. 2010, first of all, I got a job, an opportunity to work with a childcare organization, but this was in Gulu, out of Kampala. And then I used to commute almost every weekend. I was back in Kampala for almost 2 years. And so it became a bit costly on my side and hectic. So somehow I think also KCCA felt I wasn't so much available, and they didn't take me on, I think in 2013, but I had also agreed, I think I can't do this anymore. So I kind of dropped off. So I got a dead year. I didn't play 2013 and 2014, I think 2 years almost. 2013, I also got married, and it was more of starting a new life, a new chapter in my life. But also my husband by the time was going through some medical challenges, and so I wasn't, even in 2012 it was also tough, but somehow I hung in there. And when I felt I needed to come back into play, actually when I moved back to Kampala, it was a bit more flexible. I felt I needed a team that was not going to stress me so much, because I had a lot of responsibility work-wise. So my work dictated the kind of team I would fit in, and that was willing. KCCA would have, but there was a lot of pressure from KCCA to deliver, as it has now. You know how tense it is for them. They must deliver. And other clubs, the same thing. So I went into the lower div. So Angels was in the lower div trying to come up. And I said, playing for them for 1 year and then come up, probably I would have settled in by then. That wouldn't be bad. But we didn't climb up the ladders that year. I think for the next 3 years we didn't climb up because of small mistakes here and there. But somehow I felt also Kathy was the person who was managing that club, and I have known her for years. And she had also shared with me what her vision, what her plan was. And she's very passionate in helping the young girl grow up and develop their talent. So the club had a very good vision that they tabled, and I felt, I can grow in this club, and I can also help to mentor. Actually, we had very many young girls, I think high school, campuses, but you see now the challenge with that is that the consistency of such girls, because today they are moved from here, the other university takes them, so you literally find yourself doing what you're thinking they would be doing. So you find yourself a full-time player instead of being like a mentoring player. So that's where I got. But I felt it was the place for me to grow and come up slowly. And I think to that time I said bye-bye to my serious basketball career, because I never featured that much again. But there's just a lot of responsibilities outside basketball for me. So basketball turned out to be one of those things that God has given me to do and serve him with that. But also he has given me more other responsibilities, and I just needed to balance my time better. So I joined Angels. Since then, I have been in Angels. I had a break in 2017. I never played. 2018. We won we were number 2, I think, to climb up to NBL. And 2018, I did not play. I kind of sat out. I had also serious injuries. So that 1 year gave me time to rethink about my health. Literally in the playoff, I was totally injured. I played while limping. I would literally ice my leg and then get on court. But those were some of the things that so Angels was, they had a clear vision, but also their values have been consistent, and these are some of the values that I have at my workplace. Excellence is one of the things we do. So, and then there is this team togetherness. It's like a family. It turns out to become like your other small family. So it has been there for us. It's been there for me. And we've moved a journey. So I felt I am comfortable, literally. I'm not looking for serious medals or what.
Because you have 11 medals.
I'm supposed to be developing those medals in other people. So I felt that would be that. But I know they have a vision. They also want to climb the ladder slowly. They have strategies. And I am happy to be part of that journey. But I don't think I feel like I am obligated to be the one doing that. There are many people who can help them achieve that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you of course know the 2020 season never happened because of COVID. People still move with masks. Others believe corona doesn't exist. But
Yeah.
of course, sportsmen and women are so much affected by the corona. So I want you to look at that camera, and advise the public on how to keep safe during this time until the government finally declares Uganda corona free.
Right. But before even I say that, I just want to encourage the young girl child out there who think that they have talent. Now, nobody should define for you your talent. You should know that once God has given it to you, believe in yourself and pursue it. But don't be diverted with the money, with other things. Let your focus be to serve God with your talent, because that's what the Bible says. All of life is a sacred art of worship. So worship Him with your talent that He's given you. Now, for everyone out there, we should know that coronavirus is real, but God has given us a spirit of wisdom, and we need to act wisely while out there. Let's follow the regulations from the Ministry of Health and any other practices that we need, washing our hands, doing what we do, keeping social distance. It will all be for our own safety. We need you today and we need you tomorrow. So stay safe and let's be there to serve God with the talents He has given us.
Okay. So you talked about talking the girl child, trying to encourage them. As the interview went on, I was asking you how you became who you are. Again, I want you to look at the camera and advise the people who want to be like you, become like you, or even better than you. Please talk to them.
The people who really would want to be like me, or actually better than me, because I have my bar probably is lower, you can set your bar higher. For starters, is that believe that God has a plan and a purpose for you. And once you know what that purpose is for your life, then you will actually go for it. But this is also what I want to say, is that know what your vision is. Have a plan. Do not move up and down looking for what you yourself have not defined. Every team calls you, you feel you go there. This calls you, you go. Before even you achieve what you want, you are on the run. And then practice, hard work, practice every day. Put into practice, put in efforts. And the other thing is respect your coaches. If you do not respect your teammates and your coaches, trust me, you will be the most indisciplined player. And sports is a disciplined sport, actually. It's a disciplined game. So you need to be disciplined to achieve what you want. Listen to what they tell you, advise, and then just pursue that which you have. But above all, just pray that God guides you every day in what you do and makes you the person He wants you to be. And that will be well.
Okay, that's it. Before this interview, I had a conversation with Sandra Munduro Ulanga. We were talking about you, and she was so excited. She was looking forward to this interview, and we made a joke, and we were like, she's like Stevie Omoni. That's how much you're respected in Ugandan basketball. But thank you so much for coming. I hope next time we invite you, you'll come, and we shared a conversation about you nurturing girls outside there.
Yeah.
I wish you very good luck with whatever you're trying to do.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that has been Around the Game Sunday edition. I guess I will see you again on Wednesday. Have a good night, and don't forget to subscribe.